Have you ever looked at someone else's social security check and quietly wondered, how are they getting so much more than I am? Maybe it's a neighbor, a brother, a former coworker, or even someone in your own family. You both worked for decades. You both paid social security taxes. You both retired around the same age. Yet somehow, one person receives hundreds of dollars more every single month. It doesn't seem fair, and for many retirees, it's one of the biggest mysteries in retirement. The truth is, Social Security doesn't pay everyone the same amount, and it isn't random. There are specific rules behind every benefit calculation, and understanding those rules can completely change the way you think about your own retirement. Today, we're going to break down exactly why some seniors receive much larger Social Security checks than others, the most common misunderstandings people have about the system, and one important factor near the end of this video that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. One of the biggest misconceptions in America is that Social Security works like a government allowance where everyone receives roughly the same payment once they reach retirement age. That simply isn't how the program was designed. Social Security is based largely on your lifetime earnings and the payroll taxes you contributed while working. In other words, your monthly benefit reflects your own work history, not someone else's. Two neighbors who retire on the same day may receive completely different monthly checks simply because their careers were different. One may have earned higher wages over many years, while the other spent part of their career working fewer hours, changing jobs frequently, or taking time away from the workforce to care for family. Those differences quietly add up over decades, even though they may not seem significant at the time. Imagine two friends, Michael and David. They graduated from high school together, started working around the same age, and both retired at 67. From the outside, their careers looked almost identical. They worked hard, paid taxes, and raised families. But when retirement finally arrived, Michael's monthly Social Security check was nearly $600 higher than David's. David couldn't understand why. He assumed there had been some kind of mistake. In reality, there wasn't. Michael had spent most of his career in a higher-paying profession, and over 35 years, those larger earnings became part of the formula used to calculate his retirement benefit. David, meanwhile, spent several years working part-time while caring for aging parents and accepted lower-paying jobs during difficult economic periods. Neither man did anything wrong. They simply had different earnings histories, and Social Security reflected those differences. That brings us to the first major reason some seniors receive larger monthly checks than others: lifetime earnings. Social Security doesn't look at only your final salary before retirement. It doesn't focus on your highest paying year, and it doesn't ignore the lower paying years at the beginning of your career. Instead, the system reviews your highest 35 years of earnings after adjusting them according to the program's formula. If you worked for more than 35 years, the highest earning years generally replace lower earning years. But if you worked fewer than 35 years, the missing years are treated as zero earnings in the calculation. Those 0 years can significantly reduce the final benefit amount. Think about that for a moment. Suppose someone worked only 28 years before retiring. That means 7 years of the 35-year calculation contain no earnings at all. Even if that person had an excellent salary during those 28 working years, those missing years still become part of the formula. Compare that with someone who worked 40 years. Their highest 35 earning years are used, while several lower-paying years may not affect the calculation at all. Suddenly, what appears to be a small difference in career length becomes hundreds of dollars every month throughout retirement. Now, here's something many people don't realize. Working a few extra years later in life doesn't always just mean receiving additional paychecks from your employer. If those extra working years replace lower income years from early in your career, they can also increase the earnings record used in your Social Security calculation. That's one reason some people choose to continue working beyond their early retirement plans. It's not simply about earning another salary. For some retirees, it can also strengthen the record used to calculate future Social Security benefits. Let's move to the second reason, because this one surprises almost everyone. The age at which you begin collecting Social Security has a tremendous impact on the size of your monthly benefit. Many Americans become eligible to claim retirement benefits as early as age 62, but claiming early usually means accepting a permanently reduced monthly payment compared with waiting until full retirement age. On the other hand, Delaying benefits beyond full retirement age can increase monthly payments for many people, up to age 70. That means two people with identical careers and identical lifetime earnings could still receive dramatically different monthly benefits simply because they chose different claiming ages. Picture two sisters, Linda and Carol. They both spent 38 years working as teachers. Their earnings histories were remarkably similar. Linda decided to begin collecting Social Security at age 62 because she wanted the extra income immediately after retiring. Carol continued working a little longer and waited until age 70 before filing for benefits. Years later, when they compared their monthly deposits, Carol's check was substantially larger. Neither sister had been treated unfairly. Their different claiming decisions produced different monthly benefits under the program's rules. Now, this doesn't mean waiting is always the right decision. Every person's health, finances, family situation, and retirement goals are different. Some people genuinely need to claim benefits earlier because of medical issues, job loss, or personal circumstances. Others prefer the security of a larger monthly payment later in life. The important point is understanding that the age you choose to claim benefits can permanently affect the amount you receive every month. But those aren't the only reasons Social Security checks differ. There's another factor that many retirees never think about until someone points it out. In fact, this next reason has nothing to do with your salary and nothing to do with the age you retire, yet it quietly changes retirement income for millions of Americans every single year. And once you understand how it works, you'll begin to see why two people with almost identical careers can still end up with noticeably different Social Security checks. Let's continue with the next reason, because this is where many retirees discover that Social Security isn't only about their own paycheck. In some situations, your marriage history can have a significant impact on the amount of money you receive during retirement. Many Americans don't realize that Social Security includes spousal and survivor benefits under certain eligibility rules. These benefits were created to help protect families, especially when one spouse earned significantly more than the other during their working years. Imagine a woman named Susan. She spent much of her adult life raising children while her husband worked full-time. Because she spent fewer years in the workforce, her own Social Security retirement benefit was relatively small. For years, she assumed that small check was all she would ever receive. Then she learned that, depending on her circumstances and the program's rules, she could potentially qualify for a higher benefit based on her spouse's earnings record. That one conversation completely changed her understanding of Social Security. Many people simply don't realize that retirement benefits can sometimes involve more than their own work history. The same is true for survivor benefits. Losing a spouse is one of the most difficult experiences anyone can face. During that emotional time, financial decisions often become overwhelming. Yet many surviving spouses don't realize that Social Security has rules that may allow eligible individuals to receive survivor benefits based on their late spouse's earnings record. These rules are complex and depend on several factors, but the important point is this: many people never ask questions because they assume nothing changes after the loss of a spouse. In reality, it's often worth reviewing your options with Social Security to understand which benefit applies to your situation. Now let's talk about another reason. Social Security checks can look different, and this one surprises many retirees who continue working after claiming benefits. Some people retire completely, while others choose part-time work, seasonal employment, or consulting. Continuing to work can affect your overall retirement picture in different ways, depending on your age and circumstances. For individuals who claim benefits before reaching full retirement age, earning above certain annual limits can temporarily affect benefit payments under Social Security's earnings rules. Once full retirement age is reached, those earnings limits no longer apply in the same way. That's why understanding the timing of work and retirement decisions is so important. Imagine Robert, who retired at 63, but accepted a part-time position because he enjoyed staying active. A friend warned him that working would cause him to lose all of his Social Security benefits forever. Robert almost turned down the job because he believed that rumor. Fortunately, he decided to learn the actual rules instead of relying on neighborhood gossip. Social Security rules are far more detailed than the simple myths people often repeat. Understanding those rules helped Robert make a decision based on facts rather than fear. Another factor many seniors overlook is inflation and annual cost of living adjustments, often called COLA. Every year, Social Security benefits may be adjusted based on inflation using the official formula established by law. But here's something people often misunderstand. Everyone does not necessarily notice the increase in the same way. Someone receiving a larger monthly benefit will usually see a larger dollar increase because the percentage adjustment is applied to a bigger starting amount. For example, if two retirees both receive the same percentage increase, the person with the larger original benefit naturally receives a larger dollar increase. That sometimes creates the impression that one retiree receives special treatment, when in reality both receive the same percentage adjustment. There's another misunderstanding that spreads every year. Some retirees believe the government randomly increases certain people's Social Security checks through secret bonus programs or hidden payments. You've probably seen headlines online claiming that thousands of seniors are receiving surprise checks worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Most of those headlines are either misleading or completely false. Social Security benefits are calculated according to established laws and formulas, not secret promotions circulating on social media. That's why it's so important to rely on official information instead of sensational headlines designed to attract clicks. Now, I want to tell you about someone named Frank. Frank spent years comparing his retirement income with everyone around him. Every time he met another retiree, he asked how much they received from Social Security. Whenever someone mentioned a larger benefit, Frank became frustrated and convinced the system was unfair. Then one afternoon, he attended a retirement education seminar where someone explained the factors we've discussed today. Lifetime earnings, the highest 35 years of work, claiming age, spousal benefits, survivor benefits, and continuing employment. For the first time, Frank realized he wasn't comparing identical situations. Every person's career, family life, and retirement decisions were different. Once he understood the bigger picture, his frustration slowly disappeared because he finally understood why the numbers were different. So let's quickly review everything we've covered. The first reason some seniors receive larger Social Security checks is their lifetime earnings history. The second is the number of working years included in the calculation, particularly the highest 35 years. Third is the age at which benefits are claimed, since filing earlier or later can significantly affect monthly payments. Fourth, spousal and survivor benefits may change retirement income for eligible individuals. Fifth, work decisions made before or after retirement can influence how benefits are paid under certain circumstances. And finally, annual cost of living adjustments affect everyone according to the same percentage formula, even though the dollar amounts differ. Here's the message I hope stays with you after this video ends. Comparing your Social Security check to someone else's rarely tells the full story. Behind every monthly payment is an entire lifetime of work, earnings, family decisions, retirement timing, and personal circumstances. Two people may retire on the same street, at the same age, and even from the same company, yet still receive different monthly benefits because their paths through life were never exactly the same. Instead of asking, why does my neighbor receive more than I do? A better question is, am I receiving every benefit I'm actually entitled to? That's a question worth asking, because many retirees discover opportunities they never knew existed simply by reviewing their Social Security record, understanding their eligibility, or speaking with Social Security about their individual situation. Your Social Security benefit represents decades of hard work and contributions. Taking time to understand how the system works won't change the past, but it can help you make better financial decisions for the future and avoid costly misunderstandings that affect millions of retirees every year. If you found today's video helpful, consider sharing it with a friend, neighbor, or family member who's planning for retirement or already receiving Social Security. Chances are they've wondered the exact same question at some point. And if you'd like more easy-to-understand explanations about Social Security, Medicare, retirement planning, and government benefits, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next update. Thanks for watching.